Fadhil,
Ya, saya.
so you excited for today's event?
But of course.
Okay, so apa acara kita hari ni?
So hari ni kita nak jalan-jalan menaiki Vios yang baru saja
Yes.
dilancarkan.
Betul.
Belum dilancarkan sebenarnya.
Dah lancar.
Dah lancar.
Dia, oh no sorry, belum.
Belum
Dia
lancar.
orang kasih preview masa dekat KL Motor Show. So sekarang kita pergi media drive dulu and official launch dia 24 January.
So sebelum launching kita pakai dulu.
Ah.
So mereka nak tahu apakah feedback kami tentang kereta
So,
yang baru ini.
So today we will drive from here di sini Shah Alam,
Shah Alam.
HQ UNW Toyota. Alright, and kita bawa ke Desaru, Johor.
Tapi kita akan singgah Melaka
Untuk apa?
makan.
Makan. Sure. Alright guys, so this is our car. That's Kamfu, our old colleague. Hi Kamfu. Alright. So yep, this is our test car for today, car number 8. And Fadhil's popped the boot to put some things now. Just to show you, here's the boot space.
Besar lah.
Okay, so this is this is a cabin size suitcase. Fadhil's putting his bag in. Okay, so this car will be carrying, sit down. So this car will be carrying 4 people on board. All right.
On board.
Hey, haven't zipped the bag. All right. Okay, yep. So the suitcase can stand up, no problem. Oh, cukup
Banyak
So we
lagi.
got 2 bags, and yeah, enough space for one more suitcase. Okay, so this is the side profile of the Vios, and I just looked closely at the tires. It surprised me to discover that these are 16-inch wheels, right? So they don't at all look big, you know. If you were to go back 5 years ago, right, 16 inches on a B segment car is rather huge, but in this Vios, 16 inches look actually the right proportion. Okay, and the Vios, as this is the version that we are testing here, this is the G variant, and you get rear disc brakes, right? But rear disc brakes are not standard. Okay, they come with the G variant. Lower spec models have rear drums. Now you come here and see, right? Okay, look at the glow of the headlight. It's yellow. These are halogen lights, perfectly acceptable solution at this price range. Yeah, I think the city gives you LEDs, but to me, I think halogens are perfectly acceptable in the B segment, and this design of the headlight, at least you do get projectors, so it is to me a respectable appearance, and you get these LED position lights here as well. Now the Vios also comes with 360-degree camera. This is the front camera. Notice that the camera is slightly offset to the right. Okay, here in this one, the reverse camera is offset to the left. So later on, we will go inside and evaluate the quality of the image stitching on the monitor. So this is the side camera located under the side mirror. All right, we're getting ready to depart, and that's Sean here driving. Hi Sean. All right, Fadhil at the back.
Hello.
Fadhil.
Hi.
Later we'll catch up with you.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the touchscreen, and you notice that this is a different touchscreen from what I would call the standard issue UMW Toyota touchscreen. This is a slightly slicker interface than the ones that we have been accustomed to. The one that you see in the Fortuner, the Altis, and the Camry does not have this. The Camry has a factory fitted built-in one. This one, what I do notice is that this unit, it is quite smooth actually. The operation, the response is pretty alright. Well, let me just look at the features. I believe, alright, so here we access the menu. This one does not have, this is the variant without navigation. So very basic, but the response of the screen to me is quite good. Okay, resolution is not too bad, it's pretty decent, respectable. And as we come down, aircon vents, single zone climate control, automatic. Okay, temperature, set temperature, you know. Okay, tactile feel of the switches are all right. Okay, so let's admire the dashboard. Okay, I quite like this touch of flare. It's nice. And they still have the fake stitching here. Okay, this is what they call design details to add a bit of flare to the cabin, but I think it's an entirely unnecessary touch. This is hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic. Okay, it's not plush, but this is the durable kind of hard plastic that you know, you look at it, right, this kind of plastic will wear the touch of time, wear the length of time pretty well. Okay, but here I appreciate that they put leather trimming here on this armrest. So this is where when you're sitting, you rest your arm here. So it's nice that they put some leather here. This is a nice material. This here also is pretty alright. Okay, not premium standard lah, but for B segment levels, good enough. This door pocket here also is pretty good. Got a cup bottle holder here, and you got a bit more space here to select barang inside. Glove box. Okay, so the glove box is actually partitioned, so you get this small tray here and a deeper storage compartment in here as well. We move off, and here we can show you the 360-degree camera.
Wow.
Right. So you can see, right, as I showed you earlier, right, the front and reverse cameras are offset, so it does impact a little on the stitching of the image here. Okay, yeah, you see, so you can see as we drive over all the pavement, right, the stitching is not entirely seamless. Okay, and as you're driving forward, you can set the front to display the front camera view here. This is at low speed only, and they put this here so that you don't rely on this and not look in front. Okay, this is supposed to only for you to see whether is there any obstacle immediately in front of your vehicle. Resolution is just so, but this is a B segment car. It's adequate. As you can see here, the stitching not perfect. This is the stitching. This is the image here. I'll just show you what's like outside. Okay, that is the view outside here, and that is what you see in here. So yeah, the stitching at here is not entirely perfect, but it's usable, and for this segment to have this at all, I think it's pretty good. This is another surprise too. The Vios here has auto dimming rear view mirrors. This is less of a surprise. We knew it was there. This has a built-in dash cam. Hey, but they forgot to insert the SD card here. Alright guys, so we are at Seremban R&R for a driver change, and so here we have the old and the new Vios side by side. So here's the front, and we come around to the rear. Okay, now there are a lot of comments that the new Vios isn't exactly an attractive design. I've heard I've even read many comments that said, hey, this new Vios very ugly lah. But personally, I think the rear end of this car is pretty handsome. All right, it's very nice, very neatly executed, slim tail lamps, and so this is the G spec with the body kit. So they got this ducktail spoiler, quite an aggressive spoiler. Got lower skirts as well, but the front end, all right, the front end admittedly is rather busy looking. Now let me just come back to this one, then I can show you with the older car side by side. So there's a lot of design elements here. One may argue there's too much. Okay, so you see this part of it, right, the front, the lower grille of the bumper, this is quite messy, too many details here. I think they could have simplified this, and and this would be a far more pleasant looking design, right? Let me and over there, let's just show you, over there right at the far end there is the city. Okay, so we will just bring you here, and side by side the Vios and the city. So as you can see from here, right, the city looks much cleaner. The city has a much cleaner look, and it's still an attractive looking shape. Okay, so now we look at the rear comparison between the Vios and the City, both also okay lah. The City has been around for some time, so this shape has become very common on our roads. The new Vios certainly looks fresher. Oh, and I should also point out the tail lights of this Vios are LED. Okay, LED tail lights. Alright guys, this here is the interior of the Honda City. This example here is a low spec model, one of the lower spec models, and just one point to illustrate to you. This is the center console of the City. Look at the far more effective utilization of space here versus the Vios. You got two cup holders here, which the Vios also has, but you see this whole area, you have the handbrake here, but this whole area is effectively partitioned, you know, to enable you to drop a far greater amount of small items. Another two cup holders here for the rear passenger, and you know, two slots here to maybe select your mobile phone. And yeah, well, this one is supposed to be an empty space for you to put your hands through and operating the handbrake. But you know, overall, the ergonomics wise, I would say the City's dash is far better executed than the Vios. Now you see, we jump back now to the Vios, right? Now I would say the Vios is a more visually appealing cabin, but you look at the amount of space here. This center tunnel is so narrow that and you see with the Honda, right, the center tunnel is raised where it is level with the seat, so they can utilize this space a lot more effectively than what Toyota has done here. Hey, Abang Fadhil.
Ya, saya.
You okay kat sana?
Oh, okay, selesa.
Selesa, okay.
Dia punya seat punya reclining punya posture tu, just nice.
Oh, shock, huh?
Shock.
Okay guys, so I've driven on the highway for some kilometers now, doing highway speeds, and thus far my findings is that the engine is surprisingly quiet. Even though right now I'm pulling about 3,000 plus RPM, right, there's not a lot of booming sound coming from the engine bay, which is good. I also think that there isn't much in the way of tire noise. Alright, tire noise is actually quite well muted, but there is a bit of wind noise coming through the A-pillar, which is overall, I would say, not unreasonable for a car at this class. Actually, if you were to drive this car at, say, normal city speeds, 80-90 kilometers per hour, or even up to 110 kilometers per hour, this is an entirely adequate in terms of NVH suppression. One of our media friends who was in who came along, who owns a previous gen Vios, shares that at the very least, this car feels quieter than its immediate predecessor. So there is that bit of improvement there. Also, the overall dynamics of this car, the chassis feels well behaved. It feels planted at speeds. The steering is on the light side, but then again, typical of cars this class, consumers at this segment expect that kind of steering feel. It is light, so what the benefit of it is that this car is easy to maneuver in cities. Okay, so as before, right, the Vios here, it continues with the 1.5 liter Dual VVT-i engine. This is the NR series engine that is actually made locally in Senawang by Perodua. Okay, so it is shared with the Myvi. It is also shared with the Avanza, Vios. This is the Vios. What am I talking about? It is also shared with the Avanza, the Raj, the Arus, all these guys. NR series engine, Dual VVT-i. Here in the Vios, it is paired with a continuously variable transmission, and thus far, on highway driving, it feels like an adequate combo, right? When you kick it down, okay, when you kick acceleration and kick down is good. It's good response, but of course, when you work it hard beyond 4,000 RPM, 5,000 RPM, the engine can sound a little unruly, which is pretty normal for engines this class. Alright guys, so now I'm bumped to the rear seat. Fadhil's driving, and alright, so first up, as you can see, rear passenger gets very good amount of room. I've got good leg room here. Headroom is okay. I got an individual adjustable headrest here, and so as I sit here, the seat cushion, alright, so the seat cushion, alright, the angle is good, but this cushion could use a bit more depth, alright, that would give far better thigh support. As it is, for thigh support, it is just merely okay. So if let's say you are driving within city, that's fine. If you are going long distance, you may sort of like want a little thin little pillow below here, but I think within the norms of this class, entirely acceptable. All right, let me just transfer you to another. Okay, please pardon the mess over there. Now here, even in the top, in this high spec version of the Vios, there are no rear air con vents. Remember, in this segment, the Volkswagen Vento as well as the Honda City offers the option of rear air con vents for the higher spec models. But usefully, you do get these two USB ports here. All right, this blue plastic here, as Fadhil just taught me, represents what? Fast charging or fast transfer?
Fast charging.
Fast charging, okay, fast charging.
I mean, high speed charging.
Yep, good. And here, isofix mounts, which are quite easy to locate because they have this little slit here for you to slit your finger in to locate the mount. Okay, and right here there is also a built-in, a dash cam here, rear-mounted dash cam. So the Vios here comes with rear and front-mounted dash cam. Alright guys, so we just finished lunch, and before we head off, just let me show you a few things. Alright, so here are the various colors available with the Vios. Okay, that is the car that I came in. That is my test car, the silver car. There's white, blue, red. Okay, notice one thing special about the red car is that you see the body kits, right, of all the other colors have red undertones. The red car, to get the contrast, they gave black undertones. So there's one difference. For me, what do you think is the previous color? What is the best color? I think red is nice, right? I think I like red. Blue is not bad. Somehow I think silver doesn't quite work lah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Alright, so guys, we just finished lunch. Now we are continuing on our way to watch out, to Johor, and that beep was the blind spot warning. Okay, so the Vios here comes with blind spot warning, and the impressive thing about this blind spot warning, right, is that this feature is developed and fitted locally by UMW Toyota Motor. Okay, so so what really impressed me is that, you know, because we have previously seen before locally integrated blind spot warning, like with the previous generation Tiana that was developed by Tanchong. So that blind spot warning, they had a little LED bulb installed at the base of the side mirror, right at the base of the A-pillar. But this one in the Vios, right, UMW has managed to achieve putting the LED, embedding the LED into the mirror, making it look as if it was a factory finish feature, which it isn't. Okay, and so just now it was explained to us on the workings of this blind spot warning system. Now the sensor is able to detect. So what happens is that when you drive along at a straight line, the light at the side mirror will flash if it detects a car within the detection zone. And if you flick your indicators, that is when the buzzer will sound. So as you flick your indicators, right, within a distance of about 3-4 meters, if it detects a vehicle at your blind spot, well, let's say you signal left, if it detects a vehicle in your left side blind spot, the buzzer will sound. But this detection zone increases with speed. So I was told that if you are driving in excess of 70 kilometers per hour, the detection zone stretches to 12 meters. So if let's say like if you flick on the highway, you're driving above 70 kilometers per hour, you flick your indicators left side or right side. If the blind spot sensors detect a vehicle within a 12-meter distance either side, it will sound, the buzzer will sound. Alright, and still on the same topic, there's also the other thing is that the 360-degree camera is also a locally developed feature in accessory, and which is why you see that just now when I showed you earlier, the stitching of the image is not quite so seamless, but as I said, at this price point, it is good enough to have the accessory than not at all. So no real complaints from me on that lah. Okay, but I do have to praise Toyota that the cameras on the side mirrors, the two side cameras, the physical integration of it is pretty seamless. It looks very, very nicely done. So kudos to UNW Toyota for these two features. So we are momentarily transported into a city. Okay, so this is UNW Toyota specially arranged for this car to serve as a comparison with a competitor. Right now, this city that we are driving, this is a 2 or 3 year old example. This is the base spec model, so no touchscreen in the middle, no fancy touchscreen, nothing. But it does have keyless entry, so got a bit of plus point here, right? But it does not serve as a direct comparison with the Vios that we've been driving spec wise. But in terms of the driving experience, thus far the contrasts between the city here and the Vios is pretty interesting. From the powertrain and transmission standpoint, I would say the city actually has the upper hand, because now both these cars, all right, 1.5 liter 4-cylinder NA CVT combo, so their real world performance are thereabouts match lah. But the interesting contrast is the way how the performance is delivered, because Toyota's CVT, which in some of our opinion is one of the best calibrated CVTs, right? The Toyota CVT's shift pattern mimics that of a conventional automatic transmission, in that it pulls the revs up, and then once it reaches a certain point, it allows the revs to drop, pull again, drop. So its behavior mimics a conventional transmission. And also the Vios comes with pedal shifters for you to flick through 7 virtual ratios. The Honda here, on the other hand, behaves like how a CVT is meant to behave. So what it means is that when you floor the throttle, the engine holds its revs and the speed just builds up. And honestly, as much as the Vios' delivery feels more natural to those of us accustomed to how conventional automatics work, right, I think the city seems to build up speed actually much faster, just by looking at the way the speedometer was just sweeping across the numbers. It was quite impressive. Okay, and also the refinement. Okay, Fadhil here will bear testimony. The refinement, the city's engine also seems more refined, seems smoother at the top end. Now, below 4,000 RPM, I would say the Vios' engine is already pretty refined, but it is pretty quiet in the Vios. But when you gun it, the Vios' engine sounds like, you know, it is thrashing about and all that, whereas the city's engine revs more smoothly. Betul tak, Fadhil?
Betul.
Kan? Dia macam bila kita tekan kan, kita rasa bunyi memang ada.
Tapi kau tak rasa vibration itu. Yang kalau macam City kau akan mulai kalau macam Vios kau akan rasa macam dia memang tengah kerja keras.
Dia pun bunyi dia pun macam kasar sikit. Kan? Okay? But I would say the sound insulation, the Vios seems to have better sound insulation. Okay, we have to grant the fact that this is a 2-year-old car. The tires may be aging, but there is definitely much higher road noise here in the city. Okay, wind noise also seems to be higher in this car as well, but the engine noise is slower from the city. So we would say that the Vios is better insulated, but mechanically from the engine, the city generates less noise. Okay, but that being said, we also have to make one more concession. Now, we also highlighted that the city, this unit of the city that we are driving is a high mileage car, 42,000 kilometers on the clock. The Vios that we were driving, they practically just rolled off from the showroom floor. So our observations, we have to keep in mind the fact that this is a fully running engine, whereas the Vios, it probably haven't even gone through its first
Belum panas lagi.
Belum panas lagi, yeah. So our observations on that may change if you ever get the chance to drive a fully running Vios. In terms of handling, I would say my vote goes to the Vios. The Vios just feels more planted at speed. It corners also with better stability. So yeah, I mean, I would say if you are the type that appreciate good handling, then the Vios actually may be more satisfactory to drive. But the city here definitely has a better power engine and transmission combo. It is just more refined. It just feels better sorted. And also the other advantage of the city is that I feel the center tunnel here is way better packaged than the Vios. Of course, the Vios being the newer model, it gets better equipment. All right, so a number of things that the city has no answer to. The blind spot warning, for example, is a clear win for the Vios, as is the 360-degree camera. Okay, so now I'm swapped back to the Vios here, and the immediate impression is that the immediate difference is that wow, it is a noticeably quieter car than the city. Okay, but one thing I do, and I just went through over some fly out those joints, right? I think the ride of the Vios also is plusher than the city. Okay, yeah, its space here seems to be tighter. The cabin feels narrower, and so the engine, right, like I pointed out earlier, the city's CVT behaves like how you expect a CVT to. The Vios' CVT tries to imitate a conventional automatic transmission, which to many of us it's more natural feeling. But one thing is that because the way the Vios builds up speed, okay, so the engine revs, then it drops, then it revs again. That action of the revs dropping, I feel actually hinders the seamless progress that the city enjoys, because the city, when you step on it, it just holds its revs and let your speed build up in uninterrupted fashion, whereas the Vios here, in its effort to mimic the behavior of a conventional automatic transmission, yeah, it actually hinders the progress of the smoothness of the car's acceleration along the way. And yeah, the engine of the Vios, it is not as smooth when rev compared to the cities. But let me just check the... Alright, okay, so this engine also only has 337 kilometers on the odometer, so not fully running yet. Knock. Okay, so see guys, this piece is interesting. Look at the cut line. Okay, look at this. This is actually added on. Okay, this is not, this piece here is actually not part of the original design of the Vios. This is added on locally here by UMW Toyota, and my personal opinion, I've just looked at pictures of the Vios without this. I think it looks nicer without this piece. Hi guys, so we are at this open parking lot where the organizers of the media drive has prepared a series of exercises. Okay, and so we have that one car standing by there, and it's off to demonstrate. There he goes. Yeah, just a lane change exercise. U-turn. So coming around from that U-turn, the car just goes through this slalom course. And the final exercise, you're supposed to navigate this super tight course using only the PVM as a guide. Okay guys, so now we are in the car and Fadhil's behind the wheel. He's going to attempt the same exercises that I showed you earlier. Abang Fadhil ready?
Ready.
Okay.
So maksudnya dari
Brake
sini.
steer avoid, sini. Turn. Brake. Okay, lepas tu Abang Fadhil buat U-turn. Bukan, dalam U-turn. Okay. Dalam. Lepas tu sini buat dalam. Ho 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 ho. Rancak pemanduan Abang Fadhil. Hui. Okay, stop. Okay, masuk. Kau tak you masuk sini, you guna the PVM tu tengok.
Okay, anda boleh lihat dekat PVM ni kita
menggunakan.
menggunakan.
You dah lepas Abang Fadhil.
Oh, dah lepas
Dah
apa?
over.
Itulah gunanya PVM.
Supaya
Anda boleh reverse.
Boleh ghostan.
Anda boleh ghostan. Kejap, salah masuk gear. Okay, kita cuba lagi. So having this camera with you so that you can maneuver in a very tight place tanpa mencalarkan kereta ataupun merosakkan rim kereta anda.
Betul. Lepas.
Yes.
Hooray! Okay.
Kena ke yang satu lagi tu?
Tak ada.
Kena,
Ngam.
Ngam.
Syabas, Abang Fadhil sudah berjaya. Anda bila lagi? Okay guys, this is my friend Leaps. He's a legend in our industry. Hey, yeah man. Guys, Leaps this uncle here good driver, skilled driver. I remember during my first media drive, he was my partner. My first ever drive in this industry, he was. You didn't lah. You showed this young chiku how to drive, man. Now I'm an old fart like you.
That's good, brother. I agree with you.
Okay, so just let's show you the interior of the car once again. Yesterday I've shown you the rear passenger seat. Now just to show it unoccupied. 3 individual headrests for the rear passengers. Armrest there, and here's a look at the legroom. Pretty generous legroom. Alright, as shown yesterday with me on board. Now we come to the front. And so they still have the key fob mold, the keyhole mold here. Now, in Malaysia, the Vios comes standard with keyless entry, so this is molded for other markets. Okay, so engine start stop button. This is standard in Malaysia. Down here, you have the switch for sport and eco driving modes, stability control switch, parking sensors, and here's the headlamp level adjustment. So there's a little, well, I'm not sure this is big enough to fit a smart tag. Certainly not the old model smart tag. Definitely can't go in. But the new model smart tag also, I'm doubtful it can masuk. So yeah. So here's a look at the door card. Right. You've got this very short door pocket here, good enough to fit one bottle and maybe put some cards in there. Okay, step inside. I showed you this part of the cabin earlier in the video. Now I'm just going to focus on the instrument cluster. Start the engine. Okay, so the instrument startup cluster routine has a nice sweep function of the gauges, and also here we have earlier you saw there was this the welcome display. So we zoom out and you can see this is where you control the multi-info display to show various things. Okay, so we come back. So these are you can show your eco monitor and simplified view. This one just shows you clock, temperature, fuel gauge. Okay, so here is you can show your savings. Now here's the best part. You can actually set this based on your ringgits. So what happens is, how this works is, you go to settings, units, sorry, eco savings. Yeah, so you key in your fuel price here. All right, key in your fuel price to how much lah, whatever, what's the current price of fuel that you put in, and then you go back, and when you come to this, right, when you come to the eco savings button, then this is based, then from here it shows you how your driving style saves you money, how much money you save by adopting a more frugal driving style. Okay, so you have your fuel consumption record here, fuel consumption ranking some more. Oh, tengok video sendiri. Okay guys, so as my video comes up here, Fadhil's video would already have been up. If you have not watched, please go and watch, okay? And please subscribe. Right, so now we are departing Johor on our way back to the Klang Valley. And thus far, driving impressions, first impressions of the Vios, quite positive, huh?
Yep.
Quite positive, okay? So, let's address a few shortcomings of the car first. Firstly, the center tunnel really is too narrow, okay? The other thing is that the engine and transmission, on isolation, it is sufficiently refined, but yesterday after driving it back to back with the city, can feel that the city is smoother. Okay, the city feels smoother, and also the city's powertrain naturally is quieter. But the Vios, on the other hand, it counters by offering better sound insulation overall. So the Vios blocks out all the wind noise, road noise better than the city, but the city generates less noise from the engine. Make what of that you will. Handling of this vehicle is also very good. High speed stability is assuring. So yeah, this car, in terms on the handling front, it drives well. I would say the ride comfort is also better than the city lah. Okay. Yeah, so also the other thing that I think I should reserve serious praise for Toyota, for UMW Toyota for that matter, is the pretty seamless integration of a number of locally developed accessories, most notably the blind spot monitor, in which how they managed to integrate the warning light into the side mirror, pretty much like it looks as if it is a factory fitted thing, but even though it is locally developed, right? Of course, the execution of the blind spot monitoring also is a bit hit and miss. There were a few times that we were just driving on the left side of the highway, and for no reason and no vehicle behind us, the left side blind spot light was shining. So maybe a bit more calibration needs to be done on the detection, but the execution, the presentation of it is very, very well done. Also, they also took the effort to locally develop the 360-degree camera. It's not something that consumers at this price range expects, but it is very nice to have, right? And personally, as a parent with a kid that's just starting to walk, living on a landed house, I think this is something that having this eyes all around the car to monitor my surroundings really is something that I appreciate. Okay, so prices of this new Vios range from 77,000 to 87,000 ringgit, so it is still the same price bracket as before. And I feel that 87,000 ringgit for this top spec model that comes with all these added features, it's not bad value. But if you were to step down 10k down, 77 grand for the 1.5J, which I understand also has keyless entry, also has 7 airbags, also has electronic stability control, it's not a bad deal either. So yeah, so as before, the Vios continues to be a very valid choice if you are shopping for a B segment sedan with about 70,000-80,000 price bracket. Yeah, this is as safe a choice as it gets. So, Bang Fadhil, ada apa-apa point nak tambah?
Saya bersetujulah dengan apa yang telah dinyatakan oleh saudara Kon sebentar tadi. me personally, I barely review JDM car, but I realised that this car is awesome in term of the add-ons yang mereka letak antaranya pedal shift, 7 speed CVT. Awesome.
Okay, so thanks guys. Remember, subscribe both our channels. Cheers.